It's always a special experience to be together with Bruce Clewett, not only because he's so funny, but also he has many things to speak about. And one thing we want to talk today is about the origins of ENC, because Bruce, you were one of the first who heard and who even thought about the ENC. If I remember well, in the beginning there was a conference.
Yeah, it started actually with a conference from RELAY, that stands for Reconciliation, Evangelization, Lay Leadership, Development, and Youth. We had a meeting where Johannes Fichtenbauer was part of it, and I was part of it, and some others, with about 100 participants in southern England. And during that conference, quite a number of participants came up to Johannes and wanted to know more about what can happen with leaders of communities. So we had a meeting that afternoon. There was huge interest, and as a result, the decision was made to have a meeting in southern Czech of people that were interested, community leaders that were interested in knowing more how to work together, what can happen. And we met about a year later, and it was a big hit. There was about 70 people that came, and it was electric. You could feel the Spirit of God there. And we know that it was God because Johannes and I shared a room when we both were still able to sleep. I need to say that. Yeah. Out of that, the interest was big, and so Johannes and I, and we pulled a couple of others in, began to think, how can this go on? And we decided to form a network at the beginning. It later became a family, but first of all, a network of community leaders. And we decided on the simple name, European Network of Communities, and that's how it started.
By now, this is almost an understatement because the ENC has gone international, intercontinental even. The network is reaching out way beyond Europe, but it's a network of communities. Bruce, what is so special about communities? Why does the church of today need communities? And how does ENC fit in?
Well, one of the things we noticed is that beyond parish life, many Catholics needed more connectedness. And this was found through this whole construct, which we now call communities or fellowships. And these play a special role because they're an actual chance for people who have committed their lives to the Lord, are renewed in their faith, and want to have more active discipleship and contact with each other. So this is a very special thing. When we originally started with the ENC, we didn't know how it would grow. And so our thoughts were very humble, bescheiden, we say in German. They were very humble. We thought, okay, the main thing is connecting these people together so that they don't die off spiritually. They wouldn't have died off, I don't think. But our main thought was to keep them alive and connected and seeing what we could do together, see if a synergy could be formed. And in fact, shortly thereafter, after these couple of meetings we had in southern Czech, we started having what we call now gatherings, where people from these communities, particularly leaders, mainly leaders, would come together, get some kind of input, worship, and connect with each other. And that was, again, electric. There's sometimes you do things and you know God is in it, and we knew God was in it.
You've been the program director of many of these gatherings. What stands out to you looking back over all these years?
The special thing is the friendships, first of all, I have to say. Some really, really deep friendships with people across Europe and now wider abroad. Even with people that don't speak English or German. That's what's the interesting thing. We translate into, in the meantime, I think about 6 languages or something like that, or maybe even 7, 10, 9 languages. We translated into 9 languages. So this is, but there's still a family feeling. That's the number one. Number two, the times of worship together are really wonderful, and even things like eating together and spending free time together. And the inputs are always very timely. We keep trading off between something that's prophetic or something that's more teaching or something that's more leadership oriented. And people seem to really get a lot out of that, and I know that I do too. I was the program director for the whole time up until about 2 years ago, but it was with a sad heart I gave it up, but I knew it was time for me to give it on to others, and they're doing it very capably. Congratulations, you guys.
Yeah, and those of you who have not participated in the ENC gathering so far, you still have the chance to see all the videos. Just go to the YouTube page of the European Network of Communities, or also find us on Facebook. Thank you very much, Bruce. God bless you for your ministry. What's your next plans?
my next plans are to stay here in Austria until the COVID restrictions are gone. So it's pretty much been the same the whole year. And I have to admit, you get tired of Zooming, but that's what life is like right now. And I'm still a grandfather, and I can hardly wait until I can see my grandson again despite COVID.